creatures and gods around. Beware, prepare, it's dangerous. They'll linger in the dark. Climb from below. Temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms. What is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God. Annabeth came to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. Yeah. I'll gladly give my life for my people. Can my kingdom point the way? That's a small price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher, the highest height. And the lower, the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life is nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
Alarms, hear the voice of God. Annabeth came to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden, I have been chosen. My eyes are open, eternal morning. The crown is golden, I have been chosen.
Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind. Wake up, sundown, creatures and gods around. Beware, prepare, it's dangerous. They'll linger in the dark. Climb from below. Temples and tombs will fall down. Explore the realms. What is meant to be, take it all. Obey, hear the voice of God. Annabeth came to your sacred land. Make way to the afterlife. What was once your palace, now your grave. Awaken your soul. Dive and devour the Red Sea. Take control and drown the enemies. Across the vast wild desert, move your feet along to the rhythm of the sand. Rise and sharpen up your spear. Aim your bow, make them bow down in fear. Chaos and new beginnings. Find your destiny in the metric and the omen of the mind.
Hey, to have peace, yes, Lord, there must be strife. I already see the end of life. I accepted death, my eyes are open. I read and told them there's a light. Eternal life awaits me, yes. No one can dare deny me. Yeah. I'll gladly give my life for my people. Can my kingdom point the way? That's a small price to pay. To God to pray every day. To the promised land, I understand the higher, the highest height. And the lower, the lowest depths. I'm not afraid of my last breath. Life is nothing but a test. May the gods only know what's next.
Alarms, hear the voice of
What What is going on, Governors? Chiskel here, and today we're back for round 3 of the Arc of Osiris League Season 7 Finals. And with me to cast is none other than the dynamic duo of Plato Gaming and also Dragothian. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks so much, Chiskel. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for introducing us and looking forward to be casting yet again with you two.
Yeah, man. It's always hype when a series goes to a third game. And here we are. It's Season 7. We've got JST back to claim their title. And who's here to stop them? 1093. So JST won the first match. Then 93 won the second match. I'm going to pull up the scoreboard so we can all look at this. But gentlemen, what should we expect going into this matchup?
I think if the first two are any indication that we expect another close match. JST won by just a little bit that first week, and 93T came in last week and absolutely did the exact same thing, but in reverse. So I'm expecting another down to the wire. Provisions might play a part. Structure game / last arc may play a part. I mean, it's just everything's going to be a factor in to this score on both teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, JST's 12-1. You've got 93T. They're 11-2. And it's worth pointing out that I believe the team they lost to, it is JST. So the first time they fought JST was in the group stage for the playoffs. What an incredible situation, by the way, right? Like, so they lost by 11,000 points. And then, right, they narrow that gap by the finals. What an improvement to be a 3,000 point game. And then they pull out the win. Not by much, though. I don't know, Plato, what do you think of this, man? How is this going to go today?
93T as a kingdom are known for their strategies in KVK, and now they're showing it in Osiris League. As you said, Chiskel, every single game it seems like they have something to tweak. They have a shift in terms of what they're doing in the game to kind of improve their gameplay. In this game, on this third game, because 93T won the last one, I think the onus is on JST to kind of shift their own play style and kind of adjust to what 93T has been doing to see if they could, break through to the strategy that they employed last game.
Speaking of which, are we going to see some teleportation on today's map? Is that going to be the differentiator? What is different about this map with the fog that's causing some of these matchups to be less predictable? What are some of the things that could happen that might flip this game one way or another that we could attribute to fog?
I mean, the first part of the match, right? Like, you don't really have much visibility. It's only your marches going out on the map, and you have one sentry that you can place right at the very beginning. So that first sentry placement is very critical, in my opinion, especially until the buildings start to unlock and you start to get that more half zone visibility as those first buildings release to be captured. You need to know where your opponent's at. And right now, you're really not going to be able to see that at the very beginning. So those first plays that we've seen from some of the other alliances going after obelisks at the beginning, delaying teleports, possibly taking teleports, that was a huge deal. And in fact, very successfully executed a few times to where it eliminated the match altogether. So look to see stuff like that, maybe. Although, again, this is the match that's going to decide the only realm that's still up for grabs. The realm of Horus is the one that we're able to see this week. This is something that we're looking to see if there's going to be any changes. I don't know. It's kind of aggressive to be able to do something like that. They may fall back on that tried and true. This is what we've practiced. This is what we know how to do the best way. They may just fall back onto that.
Yeah, it is kind of incredible. This is the only realm that went to a 3-game series. So all the other realms were a 2-0. But here we are with two teams strong enough to contest. I'm going to start to jump into the matchup. But Plato, I want your thoughts and then Drago's thoughts on what the final score is going to be. What's the differential going to be between these two teams? How many points is this game going to be decided by? 1,000? 2,000? 3,000?
I'm expecting around like 2,000 point differential, and it's so interesting that even though you win that last arc, doesn't necessarily mean you win the game here. So yeah, I think like 2,000 points is a good differentiator. And to Drago's point, this is the third game that they've played. No, fourth game actually they played against each other, and the last two games have been super close. So I'm sure both teams are very confident in their strategies. So I'm not expecting too much of a shakeup this game, more so just refinements of what they've been doing in the games past.
Yeah, I think we'd also be remiss if we don't mention something very exciting is coming up next week. Chisco, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so there's a big live stream next week, and you're not going to want to miss it. It is the birthday for Rise of Kingdoms. Big celebration. Saturday, September 23rd at 14 UTC on YouTube right back here. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, consider doing so now. Smash a like on the stream, by the way. Bunch of exciting stuff going on during the Birthday Bash live stream. Again, mark your calendar. Saturday, September 23rd, 14 UTC, right back here. But now, let's jump into the matchup. I think I'll give my prediction here. This is going to be a less than 3,000 point game. I'm not going to make a prediction about who's going to win. I'm not going to pick sides.
It really could go either way. That's
really
the beauty of this
could go
matchup.
Either way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 40 seconds till it starts. What should we have the camera on at the start of the match here?
I would be very, very interested to see. Obviously, the desert altars on both sides are going to be critical, but interested to see if there's any kind of movement towards the shrines on the other side of the obelisks, and also the obelisks themselves. If there's any kind of chicanery. I know that 93T has done a great job of blocking teleports in the past and really kind of messing up the rhythm of JST. Last week they did that to a great effect, where folks had to go towards the back of the obelisk port-in area instead of the front. So something like that I think we should be able to see.
Okay, here we go. Match begins. We're waiting for the sentry placement, which seems to be a standard skill used on every team. You know, my 2 cents on this one is that if every team picks that ability by default, either the abilities should be changed, potentially, get a little look at it so that it's not so strong relative to everything else, or maybe it should just be a part of the kit that everybody gets. It's not one of the skills you choose, but just a thing that everybody gets.
I like that second option. Yeah, I like that second because it's required. I mean, if you have no fog of war, you don't need the hidden sentry. But when you have that fog of war, it's critical to have visibility, and that's something that everybody needs.
Yeah, I'd love to see it be a part of the default kit.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
The 2 sentries down now. One for the team in blue, that's JST, looking to the Shrine of War, and also perhaps trying to peek at who's going to Sky Altar. Maybe they can get some of those folks. And all the way on the left side, look at this position. This is actually more unusual. For 93T, they placed it behind the pyramid, halfway between the Sky Altar and the Shrine of War. So this should give them not visibility to who surges forward at the start, but who's going to the Sky Altar. So I wonder if this forecasts an attack on the Sky Altar from 93.
Yeah, I think outside lane stuff is really going to be critical here. Obviously, you want to maintain your middle lane integrity, and especially as we count down to the first arc spawn, a lot of teams tend to focus on the outside because that's just more march time for those players to go to the middle, and it ends up disrupting their, assembly in their starting areas, trying to get a good positioning on that Temple of Osiris as it spawns its first arc. So I know that outside lane is critical when it comes not only to points, but also to just movement on the map, making sure that it's as difficult as possible for the enemy to have to either choose to go to the middle or defend those outside structures and delay any kind of middle movement.
Man, lot of cavalry here. I don't know if you noticed this last week as well, but if I remember correctly, in the 1960 game, there were a lot of cavalry being used by the winning team, 1960. And I see something very similar going on here for 93. Oh, where are they going? They're targeting by obelisk. Do you see this?
Mhm.
They targeted Ob. The thing is that they can't see. They're blind to this. They can't see that, like, see, I changed the vision here. They don't see that. I mean, JST is beyond ready for this. So JST with a dozen marches or so clustering around that area, these guys are still tunnel visioning to the Ob. I don't know that that's going to work out. What do you guys think?
The JST sentry actually really showed exactly where 93T was walking towards.
Yeah.
They saw that the line wasn't going straight towards the desert altar, but rather the obelisk here. So responding really well with the vision that they placed here. And it looks like this obelisk push that Drago was mentioning, maybe not to capture the obelisk, but at least make the teleport spots a bit difficult for JST. We'll have to see if their marches stay alive long enough, because there's just so many JST marches around this obelisk. And it looks like they still have control around their own desert altar as well.
Yeah. So just completely foregoing the altar. I don't know how I feel about this. There must be something to it, but.
So I've seen it work. A couple of the matches I've casted this season saw those obelisks taken, and not only taken, but held by the opponent. So they were able to effectively eliminate the port-ins for the enemy on the top lane or the bottom lane, and then end up porting in themselves, giving them a three-pronged attack against the map, and that effectively got it done. So it's definitely doable. The problem is, again, I mean, JST has seen that work as well, obviously just as much as everybody else. So you have to kind of plan for that. And 93T, again, like I said earlier, is very known for having a little bit of obelisk play at the very beginning. Even if they don't take it, they want to cover up teleport spots. They want to disrupt as much as possible. So JST ready for this, having seen that before. I did see on the bottom lane, JST completely forego the obelisk area on the bottom lane of 93T, and again, focusing heavy on the desert altar. So This could be huge, as we have 5 seconds remaining before these middle buildings start to unlock.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I think about obelisk plays, I think of them as like a 5 to 10% chance of success. And like the more prepared a team is, the I think less chance you have to pull that off. But I think you're right that, okay, if the altar is just going to be a little flip-flop thing anyways, why not go for the obelisk? Where if you actually pull that off, you might just win the game. Is that what you're suggesting? Right?
Yeah.
Like, chances of it working are a little lower, but oh gosh, look at this map.
Yep.
It's
very blue.
JST taking so much control of this bottom side. It was a coin flip, honestly, for this desert altar. There were like 2 garrisons from JST next to it and like 1 garrison from 93T. JST was able to get in there and delay 93T's capture of the desert altar here. We'll see if they continue to pressure it, because if they recapture the desert altar and delay the first capture points to the point where it might affect the mid rotation of 93T, that might prove a factor here.
Yeah, this is a lot of first capture points. I mean, I feel like an obelisk capture is cute, but a building capture that's just good. And what JST is doing is looking really good for them right now. I mean, they got to hold it for another 2 minutes though, and it does look like 93 could stabilize this. We're going to flip back and forth between.
I think they're doing a great job of stabilizing this. To your point, this sometimes can snowball, and I've seen it, especially with JST. They know how to do that continual trickle reinforcement. 93T has, however, really kind of stabilized that very quickly, and already are going to the middle. I think this is exactly what 93T wanted to have happen. If it didn't go their way at the very beginning. Not much on the back end from a detrimental standpoint. Things will be evened up as the middle fight starts to, get set up on both sides.
Drago, when I saw those buildings flip blue, I'm not
you
even in the
both,
game,
brother.
and I'm like, oh god, that's really bad. What's happening?
93T did great.
But 93 really evened that up quickly. So the moment of terror has passed. Everyone is calm, and they're just going to center. It's business as usual for 93. Whew.
Yep, doing a great job.
All things considered, they pressured the obelisks, and then it didn't work out, but they were still able to recover really, really well here. Actually, even rotating mid first, which is, when you're usually getting pressured by the opponent, usually that makes your mid rotation slower. But just knowing the exact amount of troops and units to help alleviate the pressure while also rotating mid is what 93T I feel like is really good at, just knowing where to send troops and when to send them. So
yeah, I mean, as I look around the map here, right, we've got the visual range for both teams represented. It's like all the red structures were blinking and none of the blue structures were blinking, which makes me think that, like, I don't know. I mean, if JST's got that kind of command over this map, it's going to be tough for 93.
I agree. I mean, both teams are really going to be very meticulous on how they make their next moves, as we see 93T probing with a couple of marches just to get that visibility.
93T, yeah.
Getting that visibility, seeing what's going on. You truly have to have a scouting march in this game mode because of the visibility changes, and that's something, again, from a play style standpoint, that is fun to watch, but also seeing how these teams execute it is fun.
Yeah, when
I love what they did with the Vision too.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Plato.
No, I love what they did with the Vision too. Sorry, it's just cool. But 93T, just seeing that they had the numbers advantage with these scouting marches, not scared of just moving their murder ball right next to the Temple of Osiris, because they knew that there wasn't any threat because of these. Yeah, these, just because you don't have a sentry up doesn't mean you can't have vision. And that's what the top teams have been doing, using marches to scout so that you can see more of the map with the fog of war cleared rather from these scouting marches. So using the fog rather to their advantage. And wow, they popped a skill?
Total vision.
Oh.
On the topic of vision, they popped total vision, right? Like, what timing? And dust up activated, so that'll mess with your vision. But you're spot on that, like, these cavalry are just here to scout. These guys are literally just scouting right now, which I think is awesome. Love to see it. Total vision for 93T as well now. So both teams actually taking advantage of some of these abilities that manipulate vision, even without a sentry. And you're spot on, by the way. When I was lane leading in the preseason, I was instructing people to spread out their marches just to get vision. It's totally worth.
Yeah, I agree. We see both teams starting to kind of merge together here. I think the fight's about to pop off. Here we go. Dust up being used by JST pushing as well as 93T pushing. I don't think we're going to have a clear winner here for the next 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have to wait too long, though. Like, it's going to be decisive, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think this is going to be one of those, like, 3-minute fights that turns into a 5-minute fight that turns into a, 7-minute thing. That's a lot of JST sad faces.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
No, you're saying what we're all saying. I'm definitely seeing 93T win the day here, at least at the beginning of the fight.
It does seem that way. It could be, look, some teams have the strategy of trying to not sad face marches. That is a strategy, and it's super viable.
Now it's starting to stack up a little more on 93T.
It sure.
I told you, this is an even fight. I mean, I think the numbers were relatively close. It's going back and forth. The beginning, big chunks of JST were going back home, but now it's starting to shift a little bit to the 93T side. I think we start to see it's still pretty even when you zoom out too. Although JST is starting to, I think, maybe bring in a little more AoEs home.
There's a lot of blue dots.
Everything's red.
There's a lot of blue dots still. Yeah, no.
A lot of sad faces from 93T.
It was like all of a sudden. See, that's what I was saying. Teams sometimes take the strategy of not sad facing your march, because when you get sad faced, you can go home and then you can bring out fresh ones, right? So I think JST might have been rocking that strategy of just letting marches
93T coming in from behind on the bottom lane, by the way. And we also do see, again, the map being very red.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. Look at the structures. The
Oh.
shrines being taken.
Yeah, hello. We got tunnel visions. Everything is taken except here's the thing. All the shrines are taken, but what about those altars, man? Those altars are where the points are.
Oh, 93T getting first pull. Wait,
Yeah, nope, that just happened. Guan Yu,
this
the,
might
the
be one of those
carrier.
extended fights that you said it's not
I
going to happen,
told you.
Jisco.
Tried to tell you. I tried to warn you.
I mean, he literally just walked up and grabbed the arc.
Yeah, he's like, nobody's going to take it. I will.
I feel like they left the middle a little early. Like, they've all rotated away, but they still hadn't picked up the arc. Does anyone else
Listen,
think
yeah,
that's really
This
problematic?
arc is still up for grabs.
Well, yeah, those marches coming around that bottom lane on the top of that middle lane.
Oh my God.
Did a little bit of a shift.
Trago, Plato, I think this might be the play of the game, actually.
It may be the highlight.
This is what they just did is insane. Let me narrate this for a second. You see, this was a JST arc through and through, but they didn't bother to pick up the dang arc and bring it back to their side of the map. And so now it's going to the 93
picked up
side of the map. But the
again.
problem is all those 93 marches that got sad-faced are coming back. But JST, their marches didn't get sad-faced, and they went away already. They can't get back in time. Oh my
this
gosh,
double C
what
is
a miss!
zooming away.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
I can't believe they're getting away with this. Oh,
It looks like JST
my
is trying to recover from the top
goodness.
side here.
You can't recover from this now. They just gave the arc to 93.
You know, there's a few steps whenever you're trying to capture the arc, right? I mean, the first one obviously is position correctly and get enough troops there. Second, you win the middle fight as the arc spawns. And then the third and fourth are capture the arc and bring it back to your side. And I think those third and fourth steps were really critically missed during this particular fight.
Oh my gosh,
It's
they
not-
forgot to
someone
pick up
put
the
it-
arc, Drago.
That's the most important step right
It
there.
is.
Because
It's kind of a thing.
You can kind of skip the other ones, and as long as you pick up the arc, you're good.
It is kind of a thing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in their voice chat right now for both 93 and 365, that would just be really special.
I mean, we got marches
Wow.
coming down, but again, that's even disruptive. Those marches
mean-
should be going towards the sky altar or another structure to start attacking, but instead now they're having to chase down an arc that is literally walking uncontested back to the obelisk.
Yeah, that's
93T has
as
been
safe as
winning
can be.
in points per minute
That
as
is
well.
crazy.
So it's just an overall win from them. They went structure game, they lost mid, but they still ended up with the arc.
I mean, I think this is what you'd call, and look, I know all about this, but I think you'd call this an unforced error.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was this was like just completely unnecessary
Just drop the
and
ball.
preventable. Any one of like the 36 marches that were walking home could have had that arc in their hands, and none of them did. Wow.
I gotta say that Guan from 93T also moved very fast. I mean, I've never seen Guan move that fast without an arc, let alone with it.
It was the old Guanda combo, Guan Honda, baby.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Guanda's got moves. I love Guan Honda. I don't actually know if it was Honda, but I do know Honda's got that 20% march speed, so I just kind of assume. But
Could
might
very
have
much
been a
be.
Skippy Prime. I mean, they got some
I
wings
don't know.
on
That Guan
those
was mobile.
shoes, you know? Yeah. I don't know. You're right though. Infantry are very slow. It's like can you imagine you're in
Abysmal.
the finals, round 3 of an Arc of Osiris League finals, and it's
Also
Guan
tanky,
that
though.
carries your arc away from you?
Seen many a Richard go back with an arc above their head.
That
wow.
mid, I'm just so flabbergasted with that mid pull. I think there's only 3 marches left of 93T, and they were all 3 of them were around that temple, but they were just like, yeah, we're good. And that's one of the things is the most important marches you need to kill are the ones around the temple, because those are the marches that could actually pull the arc.
That snowballed in a very bad direction if you're a JST fan.
Especially since these games
that's
have been so
emotional
close.
damage. That's
these
emotional
These games have been
damage.
so close. A
Deciding factor.
mistake like that could cost you the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, JSD fans are 100% experiencing emotional damage right now. That is brutal.
Yeah. Impressive. Gotta say it's impressive. We have the arc being held now again. Obviously 93T looking to reset and not only capture that arc they likely should have lost, but now also repositioning on these structures on the top lane and bottom lane. plenty of structures being attacked and assaulted right now. Bottom lane Desert Altar looks very heavily contested at the moment. But again, 93T, with having their marches reset, were able to be there with full marches against the ones coming from the middle from JST, and they have basically secured it.
You know, there's actually two things that went wrong, and I want to call them out with regard to grabbing that arc, because I think it's such a big takeaway for everybody. But when we studied 1960s movement, the way that they rotated is one group going forward and one group going backward. So they take the arc and then they forward send. I believe it was in the direction that they were going with the arc. I could be wrong, but I think I'm on to the pattern, which is that like they're sending protection forward, I think. I don't know. Do you guys remember which way they were going? But what JST did is both sides went backwards.
Yeah.
And because both sides went backwards, they couldn't see what was coming at them. And so Guan just sort of walked up and took it. Like if you have, if you see what I'm saying? Like if no one from your crew is going forward, you're blind.
Yeah, and I think they ended up, they didn't place their sentry close enough to the temple to be able to really see what was going on. They had already replaced it on the bottom lane for the counterattack. So again, just a litany of was mistake, a couple mistakes, but also just bad luck from the mistake. Also just kind of biting them in the butt.
I'm not too sure if you guys know, but the 93T march that picked up the arc, and there's one JST march, they had the exact same timer. I'm kind of curious, how does the game know which one to pick? Is it like 50-50 or
milliseconds?
Because that 50-50 actually might have been the differential in this game. Of course, there's multiple more minutes to play here. There's more arcs, but
right,
like
so
that difference was.
I mean, if you're 365, what do you do to win from here? So you kind of assume 93 is going to hold the arc. And then if you're 365, I mean, look, they freaking slapped in that mid fight, right? So as long as they remember to pick up the arc the next couple times, they probably just go for more arcs. So if I was driving the JST team, which like, you know, very few people get to be so fortunate to have such a skilled team to work with, right? Like, I think you just go for arcs. And I think you just try to dominate mid. And you go for either 2 or 3 arcs. I think you go for max arc captures. Am I crazy? What do you guys think?
The other problem here is if you're JST fan or player, 93T is winning the structure game right now too. I mean, points per minute are in favor of 93T. They almost have 1,000-point lead without capturing the arc itself yet. So I mean, if you're JST, it's not just that mid fight, which they clearly won. Obviously the other steps were botched a bit, so that's why there's an arc on the red side versus the blue side. But they're going to need to stabilize a little bit more effectively on these structures, because right now 93T is doing a great job of swarming these structures down and disrupting the point total generation, and that's why they have 1,000-point lead right now. So it's a little more than that. They're going to have to do. It's definitely doable. Those 2 arcs are going to be the huge factor in this game. If there's 2 arcs, it depends on how long this guy decides to hold it. And then the second one, how long that one's going to be held. If you're JST and you get that second arc, right, like you got to capture it quick, because you need that second arc to win because of the botch.
We're just looking around the map here. I mean, I think, to your point, JST's just got to run arcs, man. If they don't run arcs, and they're losing on buildings, and 93, they provision a lot, right?
They do provision over 3,000 points, I think, in both matches this finals. And so does JST. So not to take that away from them too, but I think they won. 93T won provisioning in both matches, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Do you think anyone's going to take a page from 1EE8 and try to go for like a 5,000 provision score?
I just don't think the amount of resources required march-wise to do that takes away from that mid-fight that they need to win, but also takes away from the structure defense. I mean, they're constantly under assault by 93T. I'm constantly seeing every major structure of JST being swarmed down with a rally. And it's, to me, an extra 5 marches or so provisioning is just not going to get it done.
If we look at the points per minute here, I mean, it is in the favor of 93T, but it's still like 1,000-point differential between these teams.
Yep.
Plus with the exception of the arc. Yeah. So
plus that pesky 3,000.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, if I'm JST and I see how that first mid fight went, all right,
gotta tighten it up.
Yeah, all right, guys, we're going for 3 more arcs if we can get it. Is it even possible if they delay this another 4 minutes? 3 arcs probably is not possible. I think it's probably just 2.
Yeah, I think it's a max of 2.
Yes,
two more, 3 total. Yes.
This hold ends up just being really quite meaningful for 93. And you know, we got to just comment for a minute on the position on the map where they're holding it between 2 cities. So they got options. I think you could move it a little more to the right. That might be safer, but keeping it between the cities like this, they got vision for anybody coming in to attack. I mean, this is a position that they've really thought about. Where do we put the arc when we're holding it? And the one thing you don't want to do is keep it next to the obelisk, where an enemy could pick it up, and if the obelisk is empty, then walk it into the obelisk.
Especially if
you're
it's
not
empty.
paying attention. Yeah.
Oops.
I mean, look, this game mode is all about multitasking. Like, how many different places can you look at once? And quite frankly, a non-trivial amount of the organization is in making people not have to look at too many places at once, because it's hard to do.
You know, I like to highlight certain things that I just see across the map. If we go to the Sky Altar on the top lane, that's currently under assault by JST. Normal assault looking, you got the rally coming in now. There's a couple marches on the open field. But if you, from a visibility standpoint, Star coming in from the northeast quadrant or whatever you want to call it, he was out of vision to anybody but Blue for a good 30 seconds. And it was just the small things like that I like to point out, just simply because that's what helps win these matches. This is Star coming in with 4 full skill damage marches. I mean, this is your massive swarming setup, and Jan is taking heavy damage because of it. Marches that likely 93T didn't know about, didn't plan for. Now, luckily, they have an abundance of open field marches to help address this. But if they didn't, right, like if they were like, okay, we're going to barely do it, but we're going to do it, and then 5 marches from JST come in from out of nowhere, like those are the little things that you need to, in these top tier cream of the crop matches, have happen to win these matches. And right now, 93T has done a great job of doing that, but JST is still doing those things, trying to take the Sky Altar as 2 minutes remain on the arc timer being held.
So they score this arc soon. I keep seeing the arc blink, and I'm like, it's not under attack, is it? But while you're holding it, it blinks on the map.
Under assault.
Yeah. So it'll blink even though it's not under attack. But all the other buildings blink to showcase, like, hey, this building's under attack. Pay attention to it. And, you know, it's a pretty even distribution of that kind of throughout the match here. Offense for both sides against the opposing side structures, but like consistent 100+ points per minute for 93. This is really alarming for JST, honestly. I mean,
they're used to it being flipped.
Yeah, they have to get this next arc. So in terms of where you use your biggest, baddest abilities, I think you have to kind of use your strongest abilities for this upcoming arc fight, right? Because if you don't win this next arc as JST, it's GG's. If 93 is winning buildings and they get to hold 2 arcs, it's fully GG's, right?
Yeah.
So
yes, it's tough.
93's got to have their biggest, baddest, ultimate plan for probably 10 ability points in the middle coming up.
They both likely will have 10 points. So you're going to see Total Vision to the death likely for both. Or they may counter with Heaven's Grace. I'm curious to see which way they decide to go. I do notice between these guys and then having cast 93T throughout the playoffs, they like to use Heaven's Grace as a reactionary thing. So they are very much letting the opponent lead the way with skills and then they plan accordingly on the back end to react. So they see To the Death, they hit Heaven's Grace. If they see Heaven's Grace, they use To the Death. If they see Total Vision, they mirror Total Vision. If they see Dust Up, they mirror Dust Up. So I mean, they're very understanding of not time is not a huge deal in that mid fight. You need to make sure that you are reactionary to offset any bonuses that the opponent might get.
Arc has been captured, by the way. So the timer ticks for this next upcoming mid fight. I actually think 93T is in a really advantageous position here, because as we've seen in the past, even though you win an arc, doesn't necessarily mean you win the overall trade. 93T know that JST, like this upcoming arc, they need it to come back into the game. Maybe they know that they're going to go all in for this arc and then try to transition into the structure game, at least to to delay some of the point gain they get from structures. So it's going to be such a tough proposition for JST. If you don't see that many 93T marches in the middle, then maybe they're going for the structure game. And JST not only need to win the mid fight, I feel like they also have to hold their own structures during that time as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see where each team decide to place their marches and their pressure, and from that, how the other team responds to said pressure.
I think 93 has nothing but options. I mean, the more you think about it, the more I think terrifying it is for JST to figure out what the heck to do here. Because you're right, Plato. If they just shift 100% to buildings, they're like, hey, you know what? We're not taking this arc in the middle, probably. We just hit all the buildings. Not a bad plan. I do want to point out for a minute, there's a lot of marches here on the JST side, bottom lane, that the 6 minutes till arc. I mean, if you want to get to arc on time and you're in this lane, you need to be going now, and they're not going. So I wonder what JST is up to here. Looks like they might want to get the Shrine of Life in order to, get the extra health and march speed. By the way, I love this change to Shrine of Life, where now it gives health and march speed. That is pretty awesome.
What is happening here? Hold on. So I'm looking inside the bases right now.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing teleports happen inside the base, but no movement of the cities. We still have 5 cities on the JST side, top left.
In the starting area.
Which, we're 27 minutes left on the match. I feel like that should be pretty close.
Why couldn't they be teleported?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a teleport available for both teams right now, and they're both not teleporting. So at least
only one, though, I guess.
Well, it was 2 a second ago, but I saw 3 cities with the teleport graphic happening, and only 1 city moved.
Huh.
So it was a little weird. I don't know if it was a glitch or if it was intentional. I'm not sure what happened there, but just as we start to gear towards with a little under 5 minutes left on this mid fight. You're right. Look, 93T is already well positioned on the front. They're starting to see that JST has not come to the middle as quickly as they maybe should have. And it's already a 4,200 point match right now. Maybe there does need to be a little bit of more urgency from JST, because JST, if they lose this mid fight, like you guys have said, this could basically be the match here if they don't. Now, for 93T, like you said, options. I still don't know if going structure game for this next mid fight is the right move. And the reason I say that, if 93T can delay or even capture this next arc, that's the match. But if you just give JST this next arc, it keeps them in it.
Agreed.
So especially if you give it to them quickly. So if you go all out on structures and really not contest this mid fight at all, it's going to give JST the capability for a guaranteed 2 more arcs, and maybe 3 if you start to use that teleport trick that I've been pushing and begging for.
Massive strategies.
Yeah. So I mean, there's still chances for more arcs to happen if we just know what's going to be happening throughout the match. But JST starting to recover a little bit. Looks like in the middle.
Agreed, Drago. I think 93T. I think it's going to be similar to what they did in the first arc, where even though they had mid pressure, you have to keep the team honest, or else if they see no one's mid, then they could transition their marches to structures to defend them, and then from there you don't really gain anything. But yeah, 93T, knowing that they have a lot of mid presence here, but they also have troops in the outer lanes capturing the Sky Altar already, and it looks like they're walking towards the Shrine of Life. So they are playing half to the structure game, half to this mid game, which, you know, all they need to do is incrementally gain this lead. They don't have to win this arc. So just making JST have to spread their forces thin, I think, is the biggest thing. And I think that's what they're doing with the amount of pressure that they're putting on the outside lane structures right now.
You know, really interesting sentry placement as well by 93. They put it in their ball, which normally you want to put it back on the enemy's side to get some vision of what they're up to. So they're just getting their vision from scouting. Like if I flip the vision around, okay, here's what blue sees and here's what red sees. Yeah, I don't know. That's what do you think is the strategy behind placing it defensively? Like you just don't want your sentry to get attacked, I guess? Is that the game plan?
Defensive / offensive. I've seen this throughout the playoffs, especially with teams like 93T. What they do is they place it inside of their ball, and a lot of times they'll uncover their opponent's sentry, and because they've already covered their own, they can go and grab and destroy that visibility for their opponent right away. And there's no risk for their own being lost because their entire ball is sitting right there. I've seen it happen throughout the playoffs, and there's a time and place for it, right? And obviously the mid fight's a great one for it, especially as the teams are assembling. You may have more troops or less troops than the opponent. Having that visibility, being able to possibly also delay or deny the visibility for your opponent, again, it's a twofold win.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. Here we go. JST is really spread out here, but 93 is not going to contest that. In fact, 93, look at that. Dude, if you've ever seen a school of fish swimming together, with the exception of Mr. Moo over here, who's got a mind of their own, that they are just in sync so nicely. Everyone's paying attention over here.
Yeah, this is usually like for most teams, there might be like one or two marches that get left stranded. Every single march moving is just so impressive. Everyone just in voice call, move here, move there. They probably have a marker on top of the leader's march, so then they could just stand right on top of it. But it looks like the mid fight is going to commence now.
There it is. What do you think of that? They just surrendered like a bunch of position on the temple.
93T using to the death and total vision. That's their massive double buff skill there. And
they also have all of the shrines, so the
buffs are in their favor.
They
took away the buffs from JST for this mid fight.
That's pretty big. That's a huge stat swing. That's a 15-point swing. So that's 15% less for one side and 15% more for the other. So a 30% total difference there is huge. But here's the thing. You can take the buffs away from JST, but you can't really take the punch away. I mean, look, if the first arc was any indicator, and I think it is, JST just cleans this up.
93T got first pull again. It's on the 93T side, although those JST, of course,
they
have so many marches here.
I don't think they're gonna fall for that twice.
Yeah, they're not going to run away too quickly on this one. They're going to secure it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, so where are they running? Are they going forward? Are they going backward? What are they doing?
It's a Guan Yu. It's a slow Guan Yu this time, though.
They're walking. They're walking with the arc.
Okay.
They're going to start peeling out towards the shrine.
Look at the structures, though.
Yeah.
Look at the structures.
Yeah. So 93, that was a fake out. That was not a real mid fight. They took all the buildings. That was a building play, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You got to send enough to the middle that the opponent's got to pop their abilities, because you don't want them to just have 10 points chilling for taking all their stuff back. But not so much that you can't get the job done. And this map is red as can be. The only thing they've got is like an altar for points.
And even then, that's not even generating. It's 13 seconds left until it starts generating.
70 to 670. Oh no.
You guys were talking about how fast they got to capture these arcs. Look how slow this Guan Yu is. It's still a crawl.
They're technically, I think it was technically maybe possible to get 3 arcs if every arc had a perfect fast carry, but we've left that realm for sure.
I mean, there's an XY sitting right by this caravan. I would just, if I was that Guan player, just hop in that caravan, let one of the cab marches grab it and run.
220 to 670. Oh, man.
So bad.
Every minute you get 500 points. I mean, it's a small number of minutes before you've got your arc worth of points. 8 minutes? Not even for this arc, right? 7 minutes? And isn't it 3,500 for this arc?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so
they're going to have to grab that. Then they're going to have to insta capture it. Let's figure out the math. They have one more arc available to them, obviously, right?
Yep.
But if they have master strategy available, and then they can secure the middle. If JST gets this one,
True.
which is still never over, right? If they get the next one, which is worth 4,000 points, and if they can also master strategy a fourth one,
True.
that could be exactly what's needed to make this work.
That's why they call it master strategy. It's in the name,
A couple weeks
man.
ago, 960 did it in match and showed exactly how it's done.
True.
So I will say it's been done, although it's a long shot play, and they're going to the outpost with this, guys. So they know they need to capture this and get it done and reset quickly and stop the bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a lot of time to do this maneuver, quite frankly.
Nope.
And I don't know if they even do have enough time. Especially here comes 2 intercepting players from 93T along with others. The arc is now actually a little dangerous. I mean, I think JST's got it, but 93's got enough people descending on this position that it is a little dangerous. And even if they don't score it, just stalling it right now stops that.
There's a red player about to grab it.
Yeah, they
and you have more coming at the bottom. Look at the bottom. Look underneath this fight. Look at all the red.
This away to their own side on 93.
Yes.
No, but they don't have any points. They don't have the ability points for that. Oh my God! But 93 is no JST, not again. Oh my gosh!
Oh no!
Please tell me you're committing enough people to defending the arc. We can't take emotional damage twice in the same match.
Nevsky holding strong. No, it goes flipped. Red. Look at this.
The outpost flipped.
They captured it. 93T capped it.
The arc is down. They didn't score it.
Yep. Oh,
it's still on here.
It's an 8,000 point game almost, though.
Yeah, so it turns out that 500 points a minute is a really big advantage for even just a small number of minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Arc is moving.
It's so close.
Capped. Okay, there it is.
There you go. All
right, so it's only a 4,000 point match now in favor of 93T. I thought for sure 93T capped it. I was like, that's it. GG. That's done.
Yeah, so that was terrifying. Wow. Okay, so
reset. Go back to your corner.
The crazy thing is that if 93 picked it up and they had ability points, they could have master strategist that back to their own side.
Yeah.
But wow. I mean, this is a little out of hand.
JST just abandoned that outpost. It's like, we don't even need you anymore.
So there's only one more arc.
Yep.
And they got plenty of time to go get it. Because they could always master strategist it back if they want.
Arcs. If they want to win this, both potential arcs, they need this next arc obviously just to maybe stay relevant in this match, because 16 minutes left, 5,000 point lead, 4,500 point lead, but they're down by 520 points per minute right now, and it's not looking like it's getting any better with all the other blue marches or all the other blue structures blinking with heavy red contingents around them, heavily swarming them down. They need to save if they even have master strategy. JST might not even have master strategy on their bar. And that would basically make this game over, in my opinion, if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like 93 is just completely dismantling the punching power of JST in a way that we just haven't seen in a while, I feel like. I mean, just truly, wow.
I mean, they're losing the mid fights, but they're still making it difficult.
By a lot. Like, no offense to 93.
And the structure game is so strong.
Yeah.
The point differential, though, between the two teams would have been made up with that first arc. So we would practically be in an even game right now.
it's true.
That's
But
what it
because
should
of that
be.
first
That's the
start,
thing.
Oh my god.
93T looks like they're so dominant.
You're
And
right.
what we've been talking about, 93T, they just had so many options. And JST, they had to focus down that arc. They had to make sure they captured it. Meanwhile, 93T, JST just recaptured the Sky Altar. 93T has actually been gaining points from the JST Sky Altar for the past like 5-6 minutes. So that's like an extra almost 1,000 points gained from that one altar because JST couldn't afford to send any marches there. They had to send all their marches to the arc. So just being able, as you said, dismantling the punching power, like if you outmaneuver them, and I feel like they're kind of out trading JST in a way too, right? So just because they lost mid doesn't mean they lost the whole map. They had contingency plans, they had plan Bs, and those plans have been working out for them super, super well due to them capturing that first arc for sure.
Yeah, you're right. Like that is 7,000 points of like score change, right? It's 3,500. Instead of being on one side, it'd be on the other side. This would be a completely different setup. Getting that first arc, to your point, Plato, gave 93 so many options, and it forced a JST to have to make tough choices where they had to sacrifice something. Yeah, you're right. That first arc, that was just really
JST could have
catastrophic.
insta-capped that first arc as well. Playing towards their strength of mid fights, it's the tempo of the game has been really in 93T's favor ever since.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tight.
That moment defined the whole matchup, weirdly enough.
4.5 minutes until the arc spawns. 13 minutes left in the match. It's going to be very tight. Even so, here's the next question. Obviously, if you do have Master Strategist as JST, do you do it now? Right? Do you do it now in the anticipation of hopefully winning the next mid fight and walking it back, or do you do it? Do you just do a normal grab and
There's not
carry
enough time,
JST?
I think.
It's right there. It's right there. It's a minute, maybe.
Isn't it? Is there actually a minute?
So if you have 4 minutes left until the arc spawns, 10 seconds to cap it, and let's just say it takes the full 20 seconds for Master Strategist to go off, which it shouldn't if they time it right. But if they did, that would basically be 4.5 minutes. That's right at 8 minutes. The arc should spawn. Wait, no.
You need 2 Master Strategists, which isn't a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they're out of the Master Strategy window.
Yeah, that delay that 93T did on that outpost area really hurt them.
Okay, so what do you need to do to win from this position? It's actually very achievable for JST. It's actually very, very, very achievable for JST. You have to start winning the structure game and get the next arc. Which, like, if there's a team that could do that, I mean, JST has been dominating in the middle, so, like, they could do that. But they aren't currently, but that's what they need to do. But it's 3 minutes to arc, so that's awkward.
It doesn't even look like 93T is even bothering with this mid.
No, 93, they don't even have to. They don't have to bother.
Yeah.
This is the problem that JST incurred by affording that first arc to 93 is that now 93, they could go middle, they could not go middle, and if they do one or the other, they win, right? Like, if they take the arc, they win. If they push the buildings, they win. Oh my gosh!
Obelisk when the bottom lane is red.
Yeah, it looks like a sneaky grab.
Yeah.
So it puts JST in the very weird position of having to pick and choose. I feel like if you're JST, you kind of have to choose to go buildings and then hope with your diminished force you can get the arc, you know? I think that's what you have to do.
I think it's too little too late for that now, though. They've got JST pouring into the middle. So, I mean, they're going to have way more.
Yeah, it's an overcommit.
But again, they're not going to know. Like, they have that hidden sentry sitting there. They see some marches, but
like, they can't know. But if you're JST, I feel like now you need to go for like the 10% chance to win the game. Do you see what I mean?
I do.
Like, JST needs to go buildings and hope that 93 doesn't go middle and that they can win the middle.
Taking the desert altar. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a big take.
JST's desert altar is a huge take. Yeah.
And they put the captain in there. Oh, Hera. Woo! It's not easy.
And there's plenty of 93T there, and they're coming in from behind as well.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Ooh. Sort of the mid-fight started here. JST moved in on it, but no abilities used. I feel like if you're going to start this fight, why didn't either side use some abilities? Especially if JST initiated, which they did.
Yeah.
Maybe saving for that master strategies Drago has been hinting to you.
JST is pushing. No, there it goes.
Oh, there you go.
Dust up. Yeah, like if you're going to take this fight, I don't know why
pushing
both sides
south.
aren't throwing some abilities into it. I mean, I get why 93 isn't. They don't have to. Like they could do whatever they want. Maybe they've got something up their sleeves.
I mean, JST's winning this mid fight, but again, the commitment. All 4 altars are 93 Ts now.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
The other blue buildings, at least half of them are still ticking back, not giving points. I mean, this is masterclass by 93T on how to defeat a top tier enemy.
160 points per minute to 590 points per minute for 93T. And all these marches are in the mid fight, looking for something to do, looking for something productive to do. Because at this point in the game, your marches have to be hitting something at all times, being productive at all times. You can't afford to be AFK if you're down 6k points. But if there's no one to hit in mid, then your marches are essentially AFK, right? Because they're not hitting structures and not helping you gain points. They're securing an objective that you already secured. So,
oh man, this is
Arcs up.
Yeah. I mean, it's not enough time for more.
And
arcs.
93T is the first one, I think, to actually start grabbing it.
Yeah, 93T at first ball. There's no way. There's no way.
Yep.
There's
Not
no way.
Not again.
Oh my goodness.
That's precious seconds.
That's minus 10 seconds right there, at least.
There was this is the last arc, so it's a non issue, right? Like, hey.
It's just those little things, though. Like that little thing is what happened in the first arc and happened again in the third arc. If it was a closer game, maybe that could have been something there. But
God, man, look at this points per minute is just every single time I go to check, it's like 2, 3, 4, 5 times more for the red team. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
While also doing enough to make the mid fight at least a fight.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy part is, does red go for this arc? Do they attack this carrier, or do they just not even bother? Why bother?
Why not? They got marches there.
I mean, they're in such a dominant position, they can kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you lose from this position as 93? I guess you get out provisioned. I don't know.
Yeah. You get out provisioned. All your provisioners get killed by a sniper march, but you have to be AFK at this point. But I'm sure all these provisioners know that if you take out your march from the node, then you still get the points. So
yeah. So arc moving back to the obelisk area. So there's not going to be any kind of crazy attempt at a play.
I mean, it does look like 93 is converging on that position, but not with enough haste.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, they're still going structures.
Master strategist.
Oh, there you go. That's why.
They're going for it. They're going for it.
He's going to walk into, he's going to try.
He turned around.
No, this is 93T. This is 93T.
Yeah, 93T is going for it.
They're delaying.
Oh, no.
Total vision
the reinforcements have arrived.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
JST's like, what the hell?
You get a huge damage buff from that too, right?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
The arc carrier be like, leave me alone. I'm just trying to run the arc.
They captured the closest outpost as well.
Let me just get this arc. How
yeah,
dare you?
He's running it, you're right, to the outpost, which is not great.
Again, very dangerous.
I don't
which
know
is also
which way
red,
you
by the
go.
way.
Ugh.
An outpost is already red.
Oh, man. Leave it to 93.
What's the chance?
Look at the marches trickling from the right, too.
The chance
oh my
this
god!
arc doesn't even get captured,
I told you they
period.
were converging on this position, but I didn't think it was going to be fast enough. But now that they've stalled it by putting 30 marches on top of the arc carrier, yeah, they'll get there. Dude, this arc might actually go to 93.
Oh,
I mean, is
they
just a
own the
complete
area.
dismantling of JST's strength, which is that they can outpunch you in the middle.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh, arc area is red. They're not even picking it up. They're going to defend it. Is that what the idea is?
No,
they're just going to sit here and defend it.
They're picking it up.
I
Yeah,
don't
they got
see
it.
anybody. Okay, they got it.
They got it.
They're moving it as far away from any JST structures as possible. They're not even
Yeah,
trying to capture
smart.
a JST
That's
structure.
smart.
Just
run
send
through
it
the middle.
straight back mid.
Look,
yeah.
look, dude, JST is miles away from contesting this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
JST.
Just drop it right back off at the temple. Like you dropped this.
We accidentally stole this. Temple of Osiris. We're gonna
We didn't mean
leave
it.
it
Don't
back with you.
wow.
JST capturing 4 altars, but with 4 minutes left in the game, it's a little bit too little, too late.
Wow.
The-
Impressive performance by 93T.
Seriously.
It just has to be pointed out.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Running
JST
charge.
running charge, good choice. That gives everyone on the map, I think, or is that a targeted ability?
No, that's the map wide one. There's
map
Swift
wide?
Stride, which is the targeted one,
Okay.
I believe.
I thought it might have been the other way around.
Maybe it's the other way around.
I think that might have been a targeted one. It doesn't really matter because at this point, oh wait, no, it's map wide. Those guys are flying.
Yeah, those-
Holy
yeah.
cow.
yeah, they are speeding.
I
Holy.
personally, I don't like the targeted one. I like the map wide one because
Yeah.
that's
it's
just
less,
value
though.
anywhere anyone's going. That's so good. Is 93 bringing more people to the middle or what? Doesn't look like it.
I don't know if this is
I
going
think
to
they
get
already
capped.
brought them to the middle.
I don't think this is going to get capped. I think it's just going to
will.
be a massive fight in the middle.
I'm
for the
gonna
next
point
3
out
minutes.
that JST took 3 altars. That's nice. It's not gonna matter
I mean, the
if they don't get this
disruption's
arc.
there. They can't
And
get
the
the
longer
arc.
93 delays this arc, the less likely it is.
There's only 3 minutes. Points per minute wise, the best they can do is like 1,500 points. This is a 4,000 point
Hey.
arc.
So
They're
if you're
down
JST,
by
now
6,300
you have to
points.
master strategist this arc back to your side.
I don't think they have the points
Yeah, probably not.
because they used total vision and they used dust up,
speedy.
I believe.
Yeah, the run ability.
Yeah, the run ability. Yep.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yep.
3
What I'm
minutes
seeing in these
left.
top tier games, what it really comes down to is how good your arc carriers are. 93T, I feel like they always win the 50-50 when the arc drops.
Yeah.
Dude, I swear, proper arc carriers just sit in practice matches a couple hours a week, just picking up the arc.
Yeah.
You know, working on
Practicing
those
the
reflexes.
APM. As soon as the arc drops, how many milliseconds until you click it?
Yeah, man. Wow.
Yeah. There's just going to be a big cluster F in the middle. That's basically what's going to happen for the rest of this match.
They're having a party next to the
Yeah.
temple.
So many AoEs. It's 2 minutes remain. Arc carrier, wherever it's going, now down. I mean, everybody's headed to the middle at this point.
Yeah, but red is just dominating. Dude, even Xeno's
Yeah.
chilling in the
Yeah.
middle. Xeno YSS.
Xeno
escorting the
YSS.
carrier.
The attack all
That-
button has been pressed.
So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
really smart, though. So, you know what that shows you, I think, is that they master
sends
strategist
everybody.
a garrison captain in to the, I think, maybe, so that if they took a building, they could even captain it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just noticing the Xeno. Maybe it walked up from somewhere else. But if that's what they did, that just seems really smart.
Yeah. And using T4, by the way, on this march by Mayo.
Oh, wow.
T4, double C primary.
The
Do you
super
think they can actually
technology
capture
for
these
the
arcs?
speedy
Secondary.
getaway. You know it's a real
Yep.
carrier when.
Yep. Yeah, minute
Wait,
and
is this
11 remaining.
Is this capable by 93T?
Absolutely.
It is, unless it drops and doesn't get picked up for another.
Yeah,
30
if it
seconds.
does fall, it's going to be hard to cap because they're
Oh, are you going sideways?
going to lose 10 seconds they can't afford to lose. Yeah. So now I don't know that it's capturable because I don't think they have another speedy march here to do it.
I see Belisarius,
Oh,
maybe.
okay. Maybe Belly gets it done. Okay, Cabo's got it. Deciding what to do with it. It is a double C. Wow.
Oh, it's not capturable,
It-
but they are denying the arc.
Yeah, they're just denying. They're just going
It's
over here.
definitely capturable. If they
I
just
think they-
target it. Yeah,
oh,
it's capturable. 40
seconds
40
left.
No,
seconds.
it's not capturable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's getting assaulted. But at the same time, I mean, we're staring
Dang.
at this. irrelevant thing. 10 seconds remaining, 35,000 points to 28,000 points. That's the relevant thing. Huge win to 93T with 5 seconds remaining in this match. JST did everything they could and fought valiantly, but unfortunately for them, 93T was on their game just a little bit more today.
Wow. MVP of the game, Douglas, with 218,465 points from the Kingdom of Yo-Yo 1093. Your new Ark of Osiris League champions for the Realm of Horus. The Scuffed Tigers 93T. One arc for each team, but a commanding 29,947 points from Occupation. Almost 7,800 points more for 93T. Propelled them into the lead. And that first arc, which wasn't theirs to take, but they scored it anyways, gave them a nice little boost as well. A critical boost, in fact, if you look at the score. And from a combat standpoint, total kills here, they actually were on top of that too. You observe that, Drago, in the middle of the match. You're like, even though they can't win mid, they're kind of crushing it.
It's impressive. It's such an impressive win, and congratulations to 93T for their first victory. I want to say that, both of these teams definitely deserve to be here and gave us what we were all looking for, which was a fantastic match at the end of the Osiris League Season 7 finals.
Wow. Well, congratulations to both teams on truly impressive performances. I mean, there's very few people who can stand up to the might of either of these teams. But we're not done with Ark of Osiris, and there will be more to spectate. Up later this year, but not much further down the road, there's going to be, I believe, the Grand Prix and also the Grand Finals. Two different amazing Ark of Osiris events where you don't bring what's in your roster, you have access to everything. So that's going to be really exciting. Very much levels the playing field to say, hey, who's the most skilled in all the realms? So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, smash that subscribe button, throw a like on the stream. You're not going to want to miss future casting right here on the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube channel. Lots of excitement to come. Plato or Drago, any thoughts as we wrap up this season of Ark of Osiris League?
Another great one in the books. I mean, absolutely compelling gameplay. It was enjoyable from start to finish. Wasn't a whole lot of nonsense. It was a lot of teams really vying for that championship. So we got to cap it off with an absolute cherry on the top, and looking forward to seeing who ends up, really kind of making some waves in the grand finals. If there's some vengeance in the air, or if it's going to be, same old, getting some bigger guys that have won it before.
Yeah, likewise. This has been such an exciting first season to cast. Thank you to Rise of Kingdoms. Thank you to YouTube for showing me the ropes of how to cast and everything. It's been an honor to cast with you guys and with everyone in the chat as well. This season, the fog has made upsets so viable. And I'm looking forward to the future of Osiris League because there is more of this to come.
Yes, sir. I would just completely agree with you. It's been amazing to cast with you both, gentlemen. And I've got to say, fog was the best change we've seen to Ark of Osiris in as long as I've been playing it. Amazing. Well, my friends, that's it. Ark of Osiris League Season 7's in the books. But subscribe so you don't miss upcoming seasons of Ark of Osiris and the Grand Prix and the Grand Championship. Until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom. Take care, everybody.